You don't owe anyone a thesis of why you can't do anything. A paragraph or apology of rambling constantly is not necessary. Someone asked you to do something and really didn't want you to do that. In your head, you were basically screaming, no, and it comes out, yes, of course, sure, happy to help. And then you spend extra 3 days resenting yourself. Like, why did I say yes to them? I'm a recovering people pleaser, and today we are going to talk about the thing setting a boundary. Setting a boundary without apologizing 16 times, without crying in a bathroom, and without, as today title say, sounding like a total jerk. Because you can actually do this, okay? No one will tell you, but you can do this. And you can say no, you can hold a limit, you can protect your time, your energy, and the other person can be just fine. They will be actually fine. And they will not secretly hate you, okay? So let's get into it. Why this is so hard for us. So it feels so impossible. If you are a people pleaser, you just didn't get here randomly. Okay, there is usually a story of why you are a people pleaser. Maybe you grew up in a house where your needs came last. Maybe you got praised for so easygoing, easy child, and so helpful for your entire life. And that became your entire personality. You didn't realize it until your 30s or until just now that you are actually exhausted. No? Just me? Shoot. The point is, people pleasers or people pleasing usually started as a coping mechanism. It worked at some time, it kept you loved, safe, and included. So your nervous system basically learned to say, yes, I have to say yes, and I have to stay safe. Which means when you try to say no, even to small things, your body actually treats it like a threat. Threat, your heart rate goes up, your stomach pains or clenches, or what. You do this mental calculation in your head. You do this by saying, if I do this, they will get upset. If I say no, they will get upset. And if they are upset, they will pull away from me. And if they pull away, I am alone. And if I am alone, oh my God, there is a huge story. And suddenly, saying no to covering someone else's Tuesday shift has become an existential crisis. And here is the fact that I want to tell you, this is not your flaw. This is not your character flaw. Or this is not who you are. This is the wiring of who you are. And the good news is wiring can be rewired. Okay, but we have to understand why it's so hard before we actually can change. So if you have ever thought, I know I should have boundaries, why don't I do that? I just can't seem to do it. Now you know why. It's not your weakness, okay? It's just a pattern that's got really, really grooved in. The myth of the mean boundary. So here's the biggest lie that people pleasers get stuck with. The idea that setting boundary is inherently unkind. Like someone along the way, we all absorbed this belief that saying no means you don't care, that having boundaries make you selfish, that a good friend, a good partner, a good employee just figures it out and does not make things difficult. That's a lie. That's a very convincing lie, a very widely believed lie, but a lie. So what's happening is a boundary is just an honest communication about what works for you. That's it. It's not an attack. It's not a rejection of the other person. It's just information. Think about this way. If a friend said, hey, I can't do loud restaurants anymore. My anxiety just go over the roof in them. Can we do coffee instead? What would you think that they're being a jerk to you? No, you probably think, okay, good to know. Let's find somewhere that works for both of us. That is a boundary, and it did not hurt anyone. The reason we think our own boundaries will be received badly is because we are often delivering them badly. We are delivering them through guilt, through over explanation, through apologizing so much that the whole thing becomes a dramatic moment and it makes the other person feel terrible. And we'll talk about this in a second, but also I want to be honest here. So some people, they do react badly. Sometimes they pout, sometimes they push back. And if that happens consistently, when you try to say no to someone, that's actually really important information about the relationship. A person who only values you when you say yes is not a person who cares about you and or values you. Section 3, the anatomy of a boundary that does not feel awful. So there's a structure to setting boundaries, and structure that made them land very well. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. It's basically 3 parts. Part 1 is be direct, not dramatic or adding drama to it. The biggest mistake people pleasers often make is over explaining. We think that if we give enough reasons, the other person will understand us. and therefore they won't be upset. And how do we say it? I would totally help you. I would really, and I feel so bad even saying this. But the thing is, I have this thing, and I've also have been so tired lately, and it's not that I just don't want to, and it's that. And by the end of this sentence, the person is confused. You are exhausted, and neither of you are feeling good. So the reframe would be like the length of your explanation is not proportional to the validity of your boundary. You don't owe anyone a thesis, okay? You don't owe anyone a thesis of why you can't do anything. A simple reason is just fine. A paragraph or apology of rambling constantly is not necessary. I can't make it this weekend. That's a simple and it's a complete sentence. I can't make it this weekend. That's it. Or that does not work for me is a complete sentence. I'm not in a position to lend you money right now is a complete sentence. So you are allowed to say things without immediately bracing for an impact. Trust me on this when I say this. Directness is not rude. And part 2, the warm delivery. Now, here's where the not a jerk part comes in, not a total jerk part comes in. Directness does not mean cold, or it does not have to be always. You can be clear, you can be kind. These are not opposite things. So instead of just a flat no, which honestly is fine and you're allowed to do that, you can soften the landing. Soften the landing without undermining the message. Something like, I really appreciate you thinking of me, and I have to say no this time. I love you, and this isn't something I can take on right now. Or that sounds really fun. It's not going to work for me this time, but I hope you have a great time. See what's happening here? You're acknowledging the person, you're being warm, but you are not also leaving any wiggle room for change. The boundary is still the boundary. So a lot of us leave a wiggle room. We say things like, I don't know, maybe I'll try, because we want to soften the no. Okay, but leaving a wiggle room like that just delays the discomfort and it creates confusion. It makes people come back to you and ask you, have you thought about that? And then you'll say, oh no, shit. Better be warm and clear than vague and anxiety producing person. Part 3, hold the line. This is the hardest one, okay? Because here's what often happens. You say no, and then there is another person. Ask again. Maybe with a different angle, maybe with a guilt trip, maybe with puppy eyes. And everything in your people-pleasing body wants to cave. Because the discomfort of their reaction, the way they are proving, feels like you did something wrong. And it's not, it's just discomfort. You can survive it. The technique here is what I call the broken record. So you just gently repeat the boundary without escalating, okay? You just don't need to get defensive or explain more. Just hear you, but I still can't do it. I understand the frustration, but it does not work for me. I know it's inconvenient, but my answer is still no. Do you understand? You're acknowledging their feeling without changing your position. You are not being a total jerk. That's called being a grown-up, grown adult with a self-respect. Section 4, real life scripts. Okay, so let's make it super practical. I'm going to walk you through real scenarios and give you actual word to word you can say. Because sometimes it's just help you to have a script in your head. Okay, scenario number 1, the friend who always needs a favor. Okay, this person is the one every one of us know. Every time they call, there is a crisis. Can you wash their dog? Can you help them with the move? Can you co-sign the loan? And you're a too good friend. You're a people pleaser, so you always say yes, but you're starting to feel like little unpaid assistant. Try this, okay? Hey, I love you, and I've realized I need to be honest. I have been overextending myself to you, and I need to pull back. I can't do this thing right now, and I hope we still can hang out in the way that feels easy for both of us. That's honest, it's loving, and it actually starts or reset the start of the dynamic. Scenario number 2, a coworker who keeps dumping work on you. You are the yes person of the office, and now you have 3 jobs and 1 salary. Try this. I'm at the capacity of my current projects, so I'm not able to take on that. You might want to check with the manager and bring it to him to sort out the priorities. No apology, no guilt. You're not their manager, and you're not responsible for solving their problem. Okay, you have acknowledged it, you have redirected it. Done, not your problem anymore. Scenario number 3, a family member who comments on your life concerns or life choices. It's your weight, whether it's your career, your relationship, your parenting, you know this person, okay? So what do? We try this. I know you mean well, and I really prefer not to discuss that. Can we talk about something else? Short, clear, does not take the bait, redirects. And if they push, I hear you, I'm still not going to discuss this. Broken record, hold the line. Scenario number 4, canceling plans when you are overwhelmed. You are overcommitted. Classic. And now you are genuinely, you cannot show up. Or you would have either gone anyway, and been miserable, texted a 900-word apology novel. Try this. Hey, I'm really sorry for the late notice, but I have to cancel tonight. I've been running on empty and I need to rest. Can we reschedule? No, please, okay? Own the impact. Keep the explanation honest but brief. Offer a path forward. That's it. That's it. That's it. Section 5, the guilt that comes after. Here's something, okay? I really want you to hear this when I say this because nobody ever talk about this part. Even when you set a boundary perfectly, warm, clear, respectful, everything has been considered, you will probably feel guilty afterwards, at least at first, second, third, fourth time. Your nervous system is going to tell you that you did nothing wrong. Okay, it's going to replay the conversation and find 50 ways that could have been nicer. It's going to convince you that the other person is upset with you, and the reason of their upset is you, and it's your fault, and you should try to fix it. That feeling, you should know that this is not any kind of an evidence of a murder. You did not do anything wrong. This is just your withdrawal kicking back in, and your brain is used to getting that relief of saying yes, you did not give it a hit, so now it's freaking out. The way is not to give in. It is to ride it out. Every time you hold a boundary and setting and survive the discomfort, you teach your nervous system that you are basically safe, that saying no does not destroy the relationship, and you can't disappoint someone and the world keep on spinning. It should stop, right? If you disappoint someone. Okay. It get easier. I promise you. It really get easier. And sometimes the relationship does get a little rocky. Sometimes people do pull back when you start being endlessly available to them. And that's painful. That's genuinely painful. But a relationship that only works when you have no needs is not actually a relationship. It's an arrangement, and you deserve actual relationships. Okay, let's bring this home now. Setting a boundary is not about being harsh or cold or self-centered. It's about you being honest. It's about showing up in your relationships as an actual human being and not a person with no respect. And as an actual human being with limits. Because guess what? Every human being have limits, and the one who pretend they're just quietly burning out. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to have needs. You are allowed to take up space. You don't have to earn your place in someone's life by being endlessly available to them or helpful to them. The people who are meant to be in your life will be able to handle a no. And the ones who can't, well, that's really good information because you don't have to deal with them anymore. Start small if you need to. Don't go set 17 boundaries tomorrow. Pick one thing this week, okay? One small situation where you can practice saying no or redirect or hold a line. And notice what happens. Notice that you survive it. Notice that most of the time the other person is just totally fine. And then do it again. And that's how the pattern change. One honest conversation at a time. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who really needs to hear this, because I promise you, you know at least one person who is ruining themselves into the ground of saying yes to everything. And I will see you in the next one. Okay, take care of yourself, be real, and subscribe to my channel. Ta-da!